Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and Captain Marvel 2 officially announced. Happened last night. A lot of people were already aware that this was going to be happening. You know, you don't get a $1.1 billion movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and have it not be a franchise, have it not have a guaranteed sequel. Up until now, there's been no official information. A few weeks ago, there was a report that a particular writer who works on the Captain Marvel comics was going to be handling the movie, and that she is very pro-leftist. And then a lot of the right-wing chuds came out and attacked her, and none of that information was proven to be valid or proven to be accurate or proven to even be real news, because as we found out in this article here, Captain Marvel 2 in the works with WandaVision writer, we now know that it's all BS. We know that it's fake news. We know that it's a lie. We know that all of the attacks on that woman, whatever her personal politics might be, was entirely a load of crap. But when it comes to certain people on the YouTube sphere, they don't care about facts. They don't care about information. They only care about keeping you angry in order to keeping you giving them the money. That's about it. And it's just frustrating. It's frustrating to see, because innocent people get attacked for having different political beliefs from people who will sit there and cry censorship if they're shut down on a major platform for being an absolute dickbag. Just saying. Just saying. There's, it's kind of funny to watch it take place, and you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. But anyway, it says here, Marvel is moving forward, or moving the action from the 1990s to present day with scribe Megan McDonnell. The sequel to Marvel's billion-dollar grossing Captain Marvel is officially in the works, and the company has tapped rising scribe Megan McDonnell, a staff writer on the Marvel-based series WandaVision, to pen a script for a follow-up to the 2019 pick, and she's currently in the negotiations to seal the deal, which, hey, WandaVision should be an interesting show. It's already shaping up to be very fascinating, and I think it's going to be a very interesting take on the weirder side of the MCU, but it is definitely setting up Scarlet Witch as kind of being almost like the front runner for Marvel Phase 4. And I think it's time for Elizabeth Olsen to get that bit of love. So I'm curious to see how that whole thing plays out. And obviously tying in a WandaVision writer to Captain Marvel 2 probably means that they are going to want to have something tie in with WandaVision, as because of Monica Rambeau's character being in WandaVision and Sword being a whole thing. And at the ending of Spider-Man Far From Home and the whole Nick Fury in the Sword base and in the cosmos, it's just, there's a lot going on there. And so it makes sense to want to keep it contained in-house. Now, the interesting thing here is that the director, Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, are not going to be back for the movie. In fact, it says here, sources say that Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, who co-wrote and directed the initial film hit, will not return to helm the sequel, but are in talks to remain in the Marvel Universe and direct a possible Disney Plus series. Marvel's hoping to find a female filmmaker for Captain Marvel 2 and is eyeing a potential 2022 release. Details of any high-flying take were not revealed, but the story, it will move the setting from the 1990s to the present day, and Marvel had no comment. I mean, obviously Marvel has no comment. Why would they? There's nothing really going on for them right now. In regards to this, they're just negotiating with the screenwriter in order to put the thing together, in order to get the movie written, to have it come out in 2 years, which I'm pretty sure at this point they've already got a draft, or they've already got a pitch. So here's what I want out of Captain Marvel 2. Something better than Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was just as middle of the road as you could get in regards to the MCU. It didn't move the needle forward really at all. Carol Danvers was an absolutely no danger throughout the entire movie, and it was just this character that's so overpowered that it took Thanos physically holding the Power Stone to punch her and knock her out in the final battle in Avengers Endgame. And like, that's how powerful she is. So they have got to do something that is going to put her in actual danger, to make the audience actually care about what happens to Carol Danvers. And the truth of the matter is, There was nothing in Captain Marvel that really made you care. There was not much even in Avengers Endgame that really made you care. So what they actually have to do now is they have to reinvent the character for the screen in order to make her more relatable, because at this point she's so overpowered, it's not relatable by any stretch of the imagination. And they have to make her be put in a situation to where she's going to have to not just be able to punch her way out of it. It's just not going to work. Vulnerability is key in this next movie. And I know that might sound to some people like I'm saying that women have to be vulnerable. I'm applying it to literally any character. Any character has to find a way to be vulnerable. One of the better elements of Avengers Endgame was Thor's storyline, because Thor was the main character, in my opinion, of Avengers Infinity War, dealing with the events of Thor Ragnarok, how they tied so close together and perfectly, in my opinion. And then him dealing with the fallout of failing that mission, having post-traumatic stress disorder, and then going on that journey back to Asgard to confront his mother, who he had not really grieved for, and then seeing Jane Foster and everything else, and that moment with Freya and having those conversations and the vulnerability of the character, allowing him to be, it's okay, hearing from your mom that it's going to be okay, in order to be able to move past that grief and then to move on to what needs to be done, I think really helped elevate the character. And it's why I'm so glad Thor Love and Thunder is going to be happening, because I really want to see more with that character. And I really do like Chris Hemsworth in the role. So when it comes to writing, you have to put the characters in these positions where they can be beat. There's a joke that came along with The Last Action Hero, the 1993 film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, when the kid goes into the movie world. And he's talking to, I think Jack Slater was his name, right? And he's talking to Schwarzenegger, and Schwarzenegger just goes like, what's really weird is I keep getting in these increasingly dangerous situations, and I always seem to survive. It was such a take on the action film sequel genre that it just was kind of a funny gag. And that's basically where we find ourselves with Captain Marvel 2. So I'm hoping they put her in danger, and I am hoping that Sam Jackson comes back. So I did think they had some good chemistry, and I would like to see what they have in store. But I also want to address one other thing. So there's been people out there that have been reporting on this article coming in from We Got This Covered, saying Brie Larson reportedly asking for equal pay and top billing in Avengers 5, coming in from David James from 2 days ago. Now, this is one that obviously I think went under the radar. I didn't hear about it until today when it started popping up in certain people's videos. Again, the aforementioned right-wing chuds that like to just push fake news as a way to get outrage clicks and get that green. So here's the thing with We Got This Covered. Nothing about this even makes any bit of remote sense. Nothing, because they don't provide any actual information that one could hold on to. Now, here's what they basically say. It says, speaking of which, sources close to We Got This Covered, the same ones who told us National Treasure 3 was in development months before it was revealed by THR, and that a Miss Marvel show was coming to Disney Plus before the studio officially announced it, says that Brie Larson is pushing for equal pay with her male co-stars and top billing in the movie. And while it's unclear if she's get it, good for her for trying. And that's, of course, is being attacked. It's like, oh, Brie Larson is just trying to blah, 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 blah. She doesn't deserve any money and whatever, man. Look, the thing is, she's not going to end up getting... She'll end up getting a lot more money. Her initial appearance in the MCU grossed over $1 billion. She'll make more money. That's not even a question. And whether or not Avengers 5 revolves around her or A-Force, we don't know if that's even going to be a thing. Could be whatever. But look, at the same time, it's like, that's all it is. And people are turning it into this major story. I believe equal pay, and I believe that she'll probably, that's something that she's talked about. That's, again, this is the way We Got This Covered operates. They take almost like a common sense and Occam's razor approach to some of these stories, and then they fabricate a lie around them. So it sounds realistic enough while being absolutely full of crap. And this is what they say in every article is, oh, sources close to us who have said this, and they link to past articles, keeping it in the in-click house, even though it's all BS. That's what they do, and a lot of the times it's just made up nonsense, and people are starting to realize this about We Got This Covered, but it still gets treated as a website that has some validity simply because it also reports on real news. And this is the problem, is they mix in the real and the fake to the point of where people who have actually no cognitive thought or critical thinking skills of their own treat it as being realistic. And it sounds like I'm being harsh against some people out there. It's because I am. I want them to do better. They're not going to do better because they're, dumb. And they know how to work the grift. And that's how it really does happen. Anyway, Captain Marvel 2, I have I have hope for Captain Marvel 2. I do. I'm not going to sit there and attack the movie. The movie, I criticized Brie Larson. The trailer looked bad. The movie was mediocre at best. It was harmless at worst. And that was really about it. It was just another movie that I don't have to watch again. I've watched it once with my girlfriend and she was like, oh, okay. You know, like whatever, right? Like that was about it. It's just something that is on as middle ground fodder leading into the next movie. But will Captain Marvel 2 pull in $1 billion? And that is actually going to be the question. And the likelihood of it hitting $1 billion, yeah, I'm going to sit there and say probably. And here's a reason why. And this actually came up yesterday on Twitter a little bit. So Captain Marvel 1 had the benefit of slingshotting right before the release of Endgame. In fact, it came out 5 weeks before the release of Avengers Endgame, which was a perfect time for it to hit its $1 billion in the first 30 days, as well as being a lead-in for the biggest movie of the past 20 years, in my opinion, even bigger than Star Wars. Like this movie was what everyone wanted to see, and it made nearly $3 billion in the box office. So that's clearly what happened. And then it even did well when Endgame came out because it was still in the theaters. And here's what you may not realize is when the opening weekend of Endgame happened, I forget how many hundreds of millions Endgame made. I think it was over 200 million. It might've been over 300 million. It was so much domestically. It was insane. But the number 2 movie that weekend was Captain Marvel with like another $8 million, right? So people who probably couldn't get in to go and see Avengers Endgame went to go see Captain Marvel. People at this point in time, the movie was close to coming out on home video, and it had been out for a while, and people still went to go see it when that movie happened because it had a lot of the buildup and it had a lot of the other aspects of it as well. And the movie clearly does have a fan base. There are a fan base out there who enjoy Captain Marvel. So the way I view it is this: whenever the next movie comes out, which they're eyeing for 2022, which is going to be the very first year of Phase 5, we know Black Panther's coming. We know that Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Ant-Man 3 is coming. And we know that Captain Marvel probably is going to be happening during that same time as well. On top of, I think that's about it. It's going to be that. And it won't have, if it slingshots off of Black Panther, it has the opportunity of also hitting over $1 billion. But I think we're going to get to a point where these movies, for the most part, will start hitting $1 billion just on their own. There are that many diehard MCU fans that are now going to want to see what happens next. And as long as some of the favorite characters keep going, a lot of these movies are going to do pretty well. I do think that Black Widow is going to hit $1 billion. I think that Eternals might hit $1 billion if it's good enough. I think the cast alone is enough to get it up to $1 billion. And then I also think that whatever's coming out next year, Doctor Strange 2 will hit $1 billion. I think that even Thor: Love and Thunder will cross over. I think these movies are just at a point where that's what they're going to be aiming at, because Disney's going to be upping the spectacle, upping the game, and Feige is going to be clearly expanding the story and getting us on track for another 10-year culmination leading into a big sequence of event films. And I think that's what's going to be happening. And because there's already that established fan base, it's just going to lead in. Anyway, I'm kind of all over the place in this video, I fully admit, but I just kind of wanted to talk about Captain Marvel 2, what I expect will be happening and what I predict will be happening. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but that's basically how I see it. So a couple things to take away. One, if Anna Fleck and Ryan Boden, or Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, whatever their names are, if they're not coming back for Captain Marvel 2, Feige clearly understands that they were the weak element of Captain Marvel, that it got over the $1 billion mark, but the directors and their lackluster directing didn't help it, which is why they want to seek out somebody who could potentially bring the thunder, so to speak. So you have that. Two, watch out for people who are reporting on news coming from We Got This Covered, because it's about 90% full of crap when it's not something you read about in Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, or Variety. Those are reputable sources. We Got This Covered simply isn't. And I also want to know your thoughts on Captain Marvel 2. Do you think it's going to hit $1 billion? Do you think we're in just the Marvel $1 billion club in general? Is that going to be like the low bar for expectations financially? I want to hear your thoughts and your opinions. If you made it this far, and I appreciate it if you did, do me a solid and type Captain Marvel 2 in the comment box so I know you guys made it. Hit that like while you're at it. Hit that subscribe. Smack that bell. Beat it up. Smack it like you're riding that pony. I wanna do... Okay, anyway, I'm gonna stop. And I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out. Hey, thank you very much for watching the video. If you want to keep the conversation going, and if you've made it this far, you clearly do, come on in and join the Discord. Link is in the video description. Can't wait to see you there. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.